Madam Speaker, I wish to contribute to this motion, to this debate, by simply reading the first paragraph of the motion. Be it resolved that Parliament authorizes the Minister for Finance to borrow US $2.86 million from the Caribbean Development Bank Special Fund Resources, SFR, to finance the Youth Empowerment Project. I wish to reiterate, Madam Speaker, the last three words, Youth Empowerment Project, or the title, so to speak. I want to spend a few minutes, Madam Speaker, to talk about this. What is youth empowerment? And why, although I support financing of youth activities, why I continue to believe that the actions of this government do not indicate that they are interested in empowering youth in St. Lucia. It is very instructive, Madam Speaker, that my colleague, the Member of Parliament for Castries South, had to bring to the attention of the House the fact that the actions of the Speaker seem to be that no one would rise, and therefore she was about to pose the question. That my colleague had to call on the Minister with responsibility for youth. It's interesting, Madam Speaker, it would seem that debates on youth issues do not evoke the standing up and the plowing of faces that other debates evoke. And I can tell you, Madam Speaker, very soon you will see a lot of it. Youth, really, Madam Speaker, the cliche that the youth are the future is cliche, but it's very important. And I will take a lot of time, Madam Speaker, this morning to talk about this motion. And I can hear the comments over there. It's not the usual thing that they like to quarrel about. It's about youth. And therefore, let's finish with it. Let's do it quickly. Let's just do a little thing fast, because it's about youth. But no, I will not do it fast, Madam Speaker. I will take my time. Because every day and every month in my constituency of Beaufort North and in St. Lucia, we experience the frustrations of young people. We see what they go through, and although government after government, every government has tried something different, we still continue to battle with the problems of youth. Their frustrations, their disappointments, you know, with politicians and leaders in the country, and the fact that their situation seems not to be given the kind of attention that is necessary. Before I continue, Madam Speaker, I wish to say that this YEP is nothing new. And the processes that got us here today started a long time ago while we were in government. And this is not to say that we are saying who started it and who didn't start it. It's simply to say that over the years, we have been doing things, and the member for Denry North said it, different governments have been doing things, they say, to address the problems of youth. So this here is not new, and I listened to the member for Grozile and the member for Castries Central, and this is not new. I mean, and maybe that's why they're not excited about it. If you go to the web page or the website of the Caribbean Development Bank, you will see a list of all the projects, all the processes, when they started, the negotiations. I mean, all of it is there. And I want to say to you, Madam Speaker, that the actions in there are common actions. We're going to try to solve crime. And I have not heard from this government any revolutionary or any new idea that will cause me to believe that they want to empower youth. I can tell you, Madam Speaker, in the year 1999, when the St. Lucia Labour Party government was in office, under the leadership of the member for Beaufort South and the then youth minister, the now Justice Michel, there was a revolutionary idea to take a common skills training program, a regular skills training program, and turn it into a national vibe, a national policy, a national movement to train and to develop youth in this country. And I speak of the establishment of the NSDC. That was revolutionary. The studies were done in 1999, and the NSDC was launched in 2001. And collaboration, and you saw the processes, and over the years, Madam Speaker, NSDC has expanded skills training, retraining, all kinds of ideas to change and revolutionize the development and the empowerment of youth in this country. Ça, c'était un temps côté jeune monde important. Le gouvernement a gardé jeune monde important. Le gouvernement est venu en 1997, et en 1999, dès l'année après, le gouvernement a décidé pour faire un bail, pour changer les affaires jeunes monde dans le pays. That was revolutionary. Today I hear them trying to emasculate the NSDC, remove its strength. But we are coming to that later. Madam Speaker, the NSDC has trained thousands of young people in this country. And as I said before, that was an action to empower youth in our country. Youth, Madam Speaker, if you go to the United Nations documents, you will see youth being referred to as people between the ages of 14 to 24. In some other countries, they tell you 15 to 35. Some countries tell you 16 to 37. So there are different interpretations. And if we are talking about youth empowerment, one would have thought that the Prime Minister or the Minister for Youth would have taken us through and explained to the young people of this country what exactly the government wants to do for youth. What actions have the government of St. Lucia signaled or taken to give us this encouragement and to say to us that they are really going to empower youth? And if we are going to empower youth, Madam Speaker, what is really youth empowerment? And though members opposite may think we're taking too much time or they don't want to listen, I think it's important when they report up jeune moun ki ka koute, young people who are listening to the broadcast, to understand that parliamentarians must wake up and realize that this thing about youth is more important and more serious than it's being treated with. Youth empowerment, Madam Speaker, and I want to say this to preface my comments that are coming. It is a process. If you look at the literature from the UN and so on, many writers are indicating that it's a process where children and young people are encouraged to take charge of their lives. And they do this by addressing their situation, by their addressing their situation. And they take action to change their attitudes and their beliefs. And so everywhere you read, all of the literature indicates that it is the young people themselves who have to change. And whatever assistance we have to give to them through programs, whether it's non-profit organizations, government organizations, schools, and so on, those programs must be tailored to them helping to change their lives. But, Madam Speaker, are we sure that those programs that we are speaking of will actually do that? I didn't hear the members opposite, the presenter of the motion, or the minister with responsibility for youth give us any indication. Where are the statistics? Has this been tried in other countries? What has happened to the programs, and how can we tweak our programs to ensure that our youth are better off. The member for Castries Central spoke about violence and alleged murders and so on, and indicated that it is a lot of young people. And of course, we know it is the young people who are being killed, and it's the young people who are allegedly doing the killings. But I put it to you, Madam Speaker, we need to go deeper. The member for Grosile said we need to go deeper. Of course we need to go deeper. I put it to you that those who, the perpetrators of the violence, may well indicate to us, if we dig deep enough, where the violence is coming from. I feel sorry for those young people who are in this trap. And will those programs help us to identify where the violence is truly coming from? I put it to you, Madam Speaker, that those who actually strike the match for the violence, they're never the ones caught. They're never the ones besides the dead bodies when those young people are shot and so on. So I put it to you that our programs must go there. So while we are trying to empower young people, our programs must go to the bigger heads that actually start the process in the tributaries in the forest that cause the shootings to happen in those areas and in those communities. Every time I hear many parliamentarians speak, nous toujours qu'à dire comment c'est côté ces shootings a commencé. Oh, c'est jeunes moun qui shooté en l'autre. Milani en l'autre shooting en Chimère. And we focus there. This young man was a bad fella. Me say he was a bad man. And so on. And we always focus there. I put it to you, Madam Speaker, that in our discussions and in our programs, we have to work harder to climb those ravines, to trace the tributaries into the forest where that thing really happens. It's unfortunate, but on a political platform, sometimes, Madam Speaker, nous avons des porte bagaille avec délai. Even a member of parliament in Vieux-Fort said when he wants to commit his crime, he does it by himself. Now, Madam Speaker, one may think that has no connection. But here we are talking about empowering youth, and people in the political sphere say that when they want to commit their crimes, you can pay for you. So, Madam Speaker, there are lots of, again, as I said before, when we were debating the bill on the nomination on Saturdays, it's a lot of hypocrisy. And the thing about it, especially because of information technology, the young people that we're talking about, a lot of them don't really believe a lot of the things that have been said. Because they live a different life. They understand the things that are happening. They know what's happening. And our focus can't just be on them. Our focus has to create the environment and the atmosphere to cause those young people to want to change themselves. I put it to you, Madam Speaker, that when a prime minister goes on a political platform and say to the people of Vieux-Fort that they come from they're in a ghetto and they will no longer be in a ghetto, I put it to you that this has a lot, Vieux-Fort South, I put it to you that this has a lot to do with this bill, this motion. That's not an easy motion, you know. That's not an easy motion. The actions of the government. So when you say to people that they're in a ghetto, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that you are telling the youth that you're in the ghetto. That is very significant to me, Madam Speaker. And it's the actions of the government. If you want to empower youth, you have to give them opportunities to own land. I don't hear people talking about that. I don't hear them talking about that. So when you take away their land in Vieux-Fort, you'll come with a little motion to get $3 million US from the CDB and say you're empowering them. Why are you empowering them? When you take away their land, how are you empowering them, Madam Speaker? Because you're going to take all the land, give it to one man, and then in the next 10 years, ask them to get out of Bruceville, go and rent. You'll pay them $1,000, and they have to pay rent for $800, continuing to increase the levels of the working poor in this country. You're not empowering them, Madam Speaker. You're not empowering youth by your actions. When you take away l'outier, Saki Sanou, ou ka di jeune moun ou ka ba yo pouvoir, again, that's a lot of talk, Madam Speaker. That's a lot of talk. Because the things that really empower young people are the actions that, first of all, trace where the violence and crime comes from. We don't spend too much time on it, but that is what we should be doing. So I say to you, Madam Speaker, this motion is important because it seeks funding for some programs. Some programs that are not new, programs that are happening in other countries of the region, but there's nothing there that's revolutionary to cause me to believe that this government is doing something new. The very things that the government says through their various ministers, the very things that they say, lead me to believe that their words don't really mean, you can't take their words to the bank. I point to you, Madam Speaker, the actions of this government to put hundreds of young people out of work. And you tell me now you come with something to get money to empower youth? You have put hundreds of young people out of work, age up to 35. And you say because of politics they're Labour Party, so they're not young anymore, they're Labour Party people. Usa mette a in the communities. How do I explain to the young people who are taking care of the playing fields in Vieux-Fort North and other places in St. Lucia, and they were feeding their families? How do I say to a young man that there's a bill in Parliament, a motion that will cause you to be empowered? But he says to me, but you took away my job. Not me, but the government took away my job. How will I pay to go to the training at wherever they have the training? But you took away my job. You took away my job. And you now come to tell me you want to empower me? Those are the real hard facts, everyday facts of life, Madam Speaker. So while I believe it's important, I do not believe in the intentions of the government. I don't believe in it. And when we come back here next year, this time, budget time, I would like to hear the report from the minister. He will come to say we had this workshop and that workshop and this and that workshop. And young people are out of work. Young people are out of work. And the same money they said they didn't have, government can't pay those things. They can't pay nice workers. They can't pay this. But they're giving tax holidays to big people who can afford all over the place. They have a lot of money. So I believe the government has a lot of money, based on what I'm seeing. I hope sincerely that the monies that will be owed to the public servants and parliamentarians because of the Salaries Review Commission, right now I realize the government has money to do all of that. So I'm waiting, Madam Speaker. I'm waiting. So I say to you, while it's important to get money for youth programs, the actions of the government do not prove that they are dead serious about youth. I say to you that the St. Lucia Labour Party in government has demonstrated revolutionary programs that benefit youth. I pointed out to you the NSDC from 1999, launched in 2001. I pointed out to you thousands of people who have been trained. I pointed out to you the first short-term employment program of the Labour government that saw many young people employed. I've also pointed out to you training. This is what I call revolutionary. In sports, you saw what happened. You saw what happened in cricket under Labour. And I'm not only talking about the stadium and so on. I'm talking about revolutionary programs that brought us the West Indies cricket captain. That's what I'm talking about. Revolutionary. I'm talking about programs that brought us a gold medal at the Commonwealth, even though they tried to mess it up. That's what I'm talking about. Revolutionary programs that change people. So I put it to this Parliament, Madam Speaker, that we need to spend more time to talk about the youth. And don't come with a motion and try to rush and sit down quickly. You are the minister responsible for youth. Speak to the youth issues. The largest section of our population, when we have to talk about other things, in roads, Talokaitan Road, oh my goodness, you took near file. But the young people, the vulnerable young people, 30-something murders, let's not just blame them. Give me something that searches to why those murders are happening. And we know some in the big halls, in wherever the tributaries begin. Let's search for them. And let's not heap everything on the young people. Thank you very much.